Think about whatever you dream about, like falling in love. If this is not burning in your heart, there is something you're missing. While you're here developing your ideas, try to fall in love.
A driving goal for the MakerSPHERE was inclusion. And it goes back to the idea that every student is a maker. It's just what's our role as educators is to bring them in, give them access to the technology, and help them see what's possible.
We look at this as more than just a hobby. We want to be able to give people actual skills. So it is sort of more of identifying what it is that we have already and bringing more of a maker mindset into that.
We want to turn the model of what's typically a maker and make it really welcoming, really safe, really balanced, and equity-oriented.
For a lot of populations, this is also just another way to connect with science and technology, engineering and math, and that tags to the undecided student, it tags to a student who's thinking about arts and humanities.
I'm a good representative of young girls for young girls out there that yeah, we can do this. So I think by grabbing those kids younger, they're also probably less likely to fall through the cracks.
The whole title was called Us Too, Black Women, Healthcare Disparity, and Radical Self-Care. I wanted to give students and everybody some solutions to let's identify the issue, but then also how do we deal with that? And for me, creating things and crafting has always been a form of healing and therapy.
Reach out to veterans coming out of service, connect to the MakerSPHERE and Maker Club communities, and then utilize the veteran as the point contact for California and federal government contracts, and really give these makers an opportunity to provide for themselves and provide for their community.
We want to have the Flaming Lotus girls, who are an awesome group of women who weld, to like flip the typical welding archetype into like, hey, these are non-typical welders coming in the library, talking about making from that perspective.
In that determination and intention to diversify, this is just more of our effort around equity and shaping career aspirations.
All of last year we had dozens of on-campus interns who through MakerSPHERE were working on projects to solve problems and design solutions and build prototypes. Where are you learning an emerging technology? Where are you learning to do prototyping on a 3D printer? This isn't expertise that is just for PhD students anymore. CCC Maker recognizing that these middle skills will be able to take businesses into the future was very critical. That was some good vision by our leadership to recognize that having spaces where students can develop these skills, because the labor market demand, particularly in San Francisco, was very strong for that.
Every space a makerspace is a reinvention of what a traditional classroom is. And that sits within a reinvention of the classic academic curriculum. So Makerspace basically enables administrative leaders to have an institutionalized space where they can continually issue the call for research and development, for innovation. Okay, we have to make this a priority.
The way to make any new offering in a community college successful, including Makerspace, is to work within the established systems. We think of innovation as new and outside, when really you can innovate within the system, and the benefit of doing that is that then you gain partners and supporters along the way.
So the goals of Groundswell, which is a program in the Interdisciplinary Studies Department, is to raise architectural literacy among the general population and also to bring underrepresented people into the architecture field.
I think the benefit to it being a collaborative project was that I was able to see how my work and the work of all the group members played off each other, and we were all just parts of a much bigger whole project.
If you rotate through other departments, this way there is a relationship and you start building the wealth, but not just financially, but emotionally, socially.
So much of movement building is centered around building culture, and art is an important part of building any culture.
And I think at this point in society, really, it's necessary to really reevaluate how we see our communities. I think that's something unique about the Maker Club and CCC Makers program, is it connects a statewide network.
MakerSPHERE, again, creates a new space, and it's based on the way the world works, which is, what counts as a solution.
In my experience in architecture and design courses, there is a lot of emphasis on exploring your ideation, and that itself is a really important and valuable part of your education, but it's very much removed from the real world needs, which are not necessarily to actualize your vision, but to solve problems.
This idea of makerspace as a platform for innovation, the magnitude and range of this was so huge.
I don't think it's too large of a claim to say that makerspace really is the future.